So, good evening, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to Department of Utah's training for this evening. We are talking about post and district adjutants. And tonight we have Rick Mead, our department adjutant, who is providing us training this evening, which is, I think, completely appropriate given that he is our state adjutant and has a wealth of knowledge over the last few years as I know, done a lot of learning and growing himself as an adjutant and does a lot of work for us for our department. So we're grateful for him to be here and to provide our training tonight. So I'm going to kick it back over to you, Rick.
Thank you. So, as Nigel is saying, we're going to be talking about both post and district adjutants. I put together a slide deck, and there's some information in here that I think will be helpful. But I think mainly it's going to be helpful to kind of talk about some of the context of the items on these slides. So, we'll see how that goes. So, again, the purpose of this presentation is to explain the role of adjutants at both the post and the district levels. Look at the responsibilities, best practices, and making sure we're in compliance with both department and national requirements. That's a very key part of what the adjutant needs to be focused on. One of the things that I was told when I first took on the role of department adjutants from other department adjutants was that the very, very first thing you need to do is to read, then reread, and read again your constitution and bylaws at the department level. The same thing goes for a post adjutant or a district adjutant. Read the constitution and bylaws and make sure you understand what they say. And then also read, if you're a post adjutant, also read the department constitution and bylaws, understand what's in there. Also read the national constitution and bylaws, understand what's in there. Because as we talk through this, one of the things we'll be talking about is the structure of the American Legion and the way communication flows within the American Legion. And the adjutant is, if you will, the primary conduit for information flowing from national to the department to the district to the posts and vice versa. So, what is an adjutant? Okay, and this is something that you'll want to actually take a look at in your job description. If you've got one at the post, which your post should have one. If not, then that's it is a thing that you want to be actually asking the post to put together. But it is really the chief administrative officer for the level being served. At the department level, the job that I've got is actually referred to as the chief operating officer. Both of those are similar in some respects, but that's really the anchor for those things that are going on at whatever level you're operating as an adjutant. You're responsible for records, correspondence, reporting. You serve as the institutional memory of the organization. So things that happen, whether it's at a conference or a district meeting or an event, you want to be able to document those and keep records of what has occurred, because that's the other work that you're doing on an ongoing basis. You work very closely with other leadership within the level that you're dealing with, whether it's the commander, finance officer, or first vice, others that are in that department, and you basically are there to make sure that they are also staying in line with the Constitution and bylaws and helping them navigate through some of the interesting pitfalls that are there. So the organizational structure, and this is what I was referring to earlier: national headquarters, department or the state, district, post. Each level depends on the adjutant for communication and records. So the information that flows from national, much of it comes to my office from the national adjutant. That's where that information flows from. What I should be then doing in an ideal world, is then distributing that information to the districts, to the district adjutant. And we've got in some cases the commander is dual filling that role. Sheila Heindel, for example, is both district commander, but also the adjutant for the district as well, for District 4. We've got, Commander Carlson up in District 9, and Jim Bryson is the adjutant for District 9. We've got other adjutants for districts that work that role. Tammy Santier is an example. But ideally, we've got for each district, we will have both a commander and an adjutant that can work together in order to not only handle that communication, but needs to go out to the posts, but also to assist posts that are needing help, whether it's in doing something as with respect to organizing their finances or organizing their records or working on an event that they're putting together, helping them understand how to get insurance for an event, all of those kinds of things. And again, at each level depends on the adjutant for the communication and the records. Skills, organization and attention to detail. Communication skills, record management, knowledge of Legion policies. And this one is, I believe, absolutely essential. It's something that you don't learn overnight. Nope. It is, I have been learning a lot in the almost 3 years now that I've been doing this. I can't believe it's that long. It feels like it's been much longer than that. But so I basically took over the job of adjutant for the department in March of 2023, and it is a learning event every day that you go to every day that you're involved in it. You are learning something. But the policies is what's critical. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in just a minute as well. Familiarity with the membership system. That's something I know that a lot of posts have not fully embraced using mylegion.org, for example, to process membership. More and more are starting to do that. And that's a benefit to both the post and to the department in being able to track those members and run that membership process much more quickly, because the time it takes for the way many posts were handling membership or have been handling membership, and some still are, of gathering that information, getting a check from the member, putting that check into their banking account, writing a check for the department and national component of the membership fees, sending that to the department with a transmittal indicating who the members are that are being added or either added as new or renewed, and then the department processing a transmittal for that, and then getting that membership information processed at national. That takes much longer than the post being able to get into their mylegion.org account, open up their process membership button, handle the renewals that they've got, and then send that immediately to department or to the national area of the organization so that they can handle that. And then the those dollars then get settled back to the department on a regular recurring basis from national. So familiarity with the membership system and how funds move and how that works is something that's essential. And if anybody's got questions about that, I would be more than happy to spend time over the phone and talk through that process with you, because it is not, there's a lot of nuance to it. All righty. Again, Chief Administrator Officer for the post. This is the duties of a post adjutant. Works with the post commander, maintains records, handles membership processing, and ensures reports are submitted. One of the things that you'll find as you look at the roles of the adjutant in record keeping especially is that the any minutes that are taken are supposed to be attested to and signed by the adjutant, and also signed by either the commander if it's a post or a department meeting, or potentially a membership chair, a program chair of some sort, if that's the meetings that you're doing that for. But it's, again, at the end of the day, it needs to be attested to by the adjutant and signed by whoever is leading that program or that section of the American Legion. Processing new member applications, submitting membership to the department and national, depending on how you're doing that, maintaining the membership records, tracking renewals and dues, and supporting recruitment and retention. This is an area that I have learned a lot about, and I think I'm doing a better job of supporting both recruitment and retention now in sharing information and helping people understand the membership process. But it is a key part of what the adjutant needs to do in working with both the finance and the membership chairs in your posts or in your districts. Record keeping, membership records, officer lists, meeting minutes, committee reports, post history, and maintain digital and physical files of things that have gone on. Preparing agendas with the commander or whoever the meeting is for. In my case, I work with both the commander for minutes or for meetings, and also with our finance chair for finance committee meetings. Record those meeting minutes, track motions and votes, maintain attendance records, and distribute minutes. Now, in maintaining attendance records at a post level, you're going to be really looking at the post executive committee, however that's defined within your constitution and bylaws, to make sure that you're tracking who is attending there. It's not just making a list of those members of the post that come to a meeting, but those that are voting members for the post executive committee, and making sure that at a post meeting, if business is being done that requires a vote, that you've actually got a quorum available in order to conduct that information or to conduct that business. Handling incoming and outgoing correspondence and communicating with department headquarters, sending meeting notices and announcements, maintaining mailing lists. The piece where you're maintaining mailing lists is something that there's a constant development of email addresses and phone numbers so that you can reach out to your members and contact them. I know that is a struggle within the department, has always been, and it's a struggle with every department that I've talked with, because unfortunately, the requirement of both telephone numbers and email addresses is not on the new member form. They require what era you were, what branch of service you were in, and what era you served. But both the phone number and the email address can be left off. And I know that some members are not fans of letting their email address get out to them to a distribution list. And I understand that. But wherever we can, we need to encourage people to provide that information so that we're able to contact them when important items come up, provide them information on meeting dates and times, and provide them information of activities that are important to all of the members of the American Legion, whether it's a post membership, department membership, or what have you. Reporting responsibilities. Okay, consolidated post report. One of the things, and we're gonna go through a number of these items here, but one of the things that I wanted to mention at this point is to actually talk through some of the processes that go on within the American Legion. And I'm going to actually go down and start on the post data report. The post data report is one that I received from National. That post data report, I get a sheet for each post within the department, and I then send that out to every adjutant and or commander if I don't have an adjutant for a post, and ask them to fill that information out and provide that back to the department so that I am able to then provide that information to National. Now, why is that important? The information on the post data sheet includes such important items as what your membership dues are, what days you meet as a post, what your dues remittance email, or not email but physical address is, that will show up on the paper renewals that are sent out by National, and other important information for the post. It shows you on that report what the current information on file is, and it gives you an opportunity to then change that information and provide updates if your dues change or if your meeting location or times change, anything that's important for the operation of the post. Now, that information, as I said, I should be getting that sometime this month, either the very end of this month or the first part of April, and will then be sending it out to the posts. But I will need that back to where I can get it to National by May 14th. May 14th was the date for the 2025-26 membership year. But it will be mid-May that I need to get that back to National. And why that is important is because that information, especially as it relates to dues amount, is what National will use in cutting their first renewal notices, and also in doing their membership card prints, which they will be sending out. And their first email drop of renewals will come out the first week in July sometime, typically. And so that mid-May gives them a chance to get that information put together so that the information that they send out for the renewal letters is correct and accurate when that's sent out the beginning of July. And so there's a lot of areas within these processes, and that's why it's important to know what the Legion policies are, because these schedules and the times for reporting information is essential for other things that are going on within the American Legion, at both at the department level and at national level. The other one is the Consolidated Post Report, CPR. That is where you're recording what things you do within your post that are related to the four pillars of the American Legion. There's information in there on your support for the various Americanism programs, whether it's Boys State, Scouting, shooting sports, and what have you. There is information in there on volunteer hours that you are spending, on work that you're doing with veteran service officers within your post. There's information on blood donations that you may do at a post level on that report. And so it becomes a document that both reports to National on what the post is doing in supporting veterans, but it also becomes a tool to report to the members of the post what you're doing in order to support veterans. And so that communication goes both ways. The consolidated post report can also be used as a thought document, because not every post is doing everything that is on the consolidated post report. I know very few that are. But what it does give you is an opportunity to take a look at those items that are there and then ask the question, is this something that we want to get more involved in? Or do we have time to get more involved in it because of our post numbers and so forth and so on? So
Hey, Rick.
is somebody
Rick.
saying something?
Yeah, When you have a chance, continue your thought, but I want to get a question answered in this section back to the post data report.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do that now.
Oh, okay. So we have a question, and the question is, when will we get the form for the post data report?
Ah, well, the forms are available out on your mylegion.org account. You can go out there and fill it out online, and that's the easiest way to do it. Now, um, I know that there have been some struggles with that from time to time. I know that my post, 139, Rich Fisher, who's our adjutant, he fills that out on his My Legion. And if you go out and as an adjutant, you have access to my account, then you go to your groups and you go to your post. And one of the things that's there is the consolidated post report. You can fill it out there. Now, if you don't want to do it online and you want to get the paper form, those are not sent out directly. I will be happy to send you a copy of it if you send me an email. But where you can find that is by going out to legion.org/publications. And if you go down to membership, you will find the consolidated post report down there in the very first one you click on is organization up at the top, but you can find that out. You can find that online, and then you can just print a copy of it off. I keep copies that I carry with me anymore, so that I've got those available to share. But if somebody's got a question on how to find that, let me know. I can put a link out there to that form. I can send it to you. You can find it on legion.org/publications, as I said, or you can use that form that's on mylegion.org and fill out your information there. I know that one of the ways many posts use that consolidated post report, at least on the mylegion.org, is they will review the items that are on that list at their regular post meetings, and they will update them and they will save that as a draft. And then they will eventually submit it a final version. And for the Department of Utah, I want final versions submitted by May 15th. And the reason for that is because I want a couple of weeks to remind people that didn't get them submitted that I need them submitted, because I've got to get those all up to national by the 1st of June, because that's when they start collecting that data to be able to present, and do recognition of departments at National Convention in August. So that's the time flow for the consolidated post report. I know that's a long answer to the question. Is there any clarification that's needed from that, or any follow-up? Hearing none, I will move on. Officer certification. This is another one that's important, and it's not the officer certification is important, but it's also member certification that you need to do. So, for example, if you've got a new member that comes into your post, somebody, and it's got to be an officer of the post, needs to visually verify their DD-214 or the separation documents, and make sure that they are in fact eligible to be Legion members. And to be a Legion member, they've got to be have served in the military, and be their characterization of service needs to be honorable when they leave. And that is a requirement. And so officer certification is part of what needs to be done by the post adjutant for any officers within the post. You've got to put eyes on that DD-214 and make sure it says discharge was honorable. And that's the certification there for those officers. You need to do the same thing for members. And as an example, one of the things that they added within the Legion Plus app, where you can actually have people, you can share a link and people can sign up directly with your post using that app on their phone. But when they fill out that app, it doesn't just automatically go into the post. It will go to the post commander's Legion Plus app, and they will have the option to either accept or not that member into their post. That's where the certification should actually happen, that they are eligible to be Legion members. If they do not accept that, they will go in to post 8, and then that becomes my problem to be able to then certify them somehow and make sure that they should be members of the Legion.
Rick,
So go ahead.
we have one more question. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to the post data report. The question is the post data report the mechanism where the national website, find a post, gets updated with email, address, commander, and adjutant?
That's the post data report. Yes, not the consolidated post report, but the post data report. Because in the post data report, you'll have information in there on the commander and the addresses and contact information for the post.
Thank you.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
You have a question?
Yeah, Rick, the question that came in prior was when do we get a copy of the post data report, the form itself? That come you earlier in the class you said that comes from National. You get it and farm it out to the post, and my understanding is that is so they can correct that national contact information that ends up on the website.
That's correct. I will receive that. It's a pre-printed set of documents. I will receive that usually the very end of March, 1st of April. I will turn that around to the post adjutant / commanders and then ask that be returned by the middle of May 14th, midweek, so that I can get that information to national and get that turned back.
It was separate from the data entry for the consolidated report, which is a collective pile of information about what everybody's doing within their post. Uh, as a Boy State guy, one of the most frequent places I go, and we send all of our kids applying to Boy State who needs an interview, is to that find a post on the national website, legion.org, find a post. So it's critical that you go on that website, find your post, and make sure your information is correct. If it's not correct, it's the post data report that Rick's talking about where you get that updated. Because I'm always trying to figure out who's in charge of a post because the website is not up to date because we're not doing our due diligence down in the post level. Thank you.
Good point, Doug, and you are correct. And I know that getting accurate information for all of our post contact information is something that is a struggle. There's no two ways about that, and typically, and unfortunately, it doesn't get found until there's a problem with something, and somebody does not get something. I mean, we've had that recently with some corrections, for example, on the mailing address for dues being delivered to a post, which was incorrect for a post. And again, that should be corrected on the post data report when that's sent out. But I try to get information out from the post directory that I send out and ask people to look at that, review that, and if there's any updates, I will be glad to get those updates corrected before the post data report goes out, and then that can simply be a validation. But it's also important to think about that, because if the post data report needs to be in by May 13th or May 15th, which it does, then that means that in your post scheduling, you need to be having meetings talking about whether or not you're going to be increasing post dues before that, so that information is voted on by membership, changed if needed, and then you've got a place to then update that, so that information can be sent back in to national. Because one of the things that will happen if you've got and this happened a lot with when we had the last dues increase, there were there were a number of posts that were upside down, meaning that their post dues were less than would cover just the department and the national dues. And if that happens, those members in that post are not able to go online and renew their membership. It's shut off from that. And so that's one of the reasons that that information is so important, to have it accurate and be kept current. Thank you for that, Doug. Any other questions?
Yes, there's another question. The question's from Jimmy, and he's saying post commander report, does it need to be done for transfers also?
Let's say that one more time. I didn't quite hear it.
Post commander report doesn't need to be done for transfers also. Are you talking about the post data report, Jimmy? Certification. He wants to know for the certification. So for certification, doesn't need to be done for transfers also.
It should be. That's a good question. And what I would tell you is that if you've got a transfer, your post can either make a policy statement that you believe that that certification was done by the post that they're being transferred from, or you can redo the certification yourself. It would be my bias that you redo the certification yourself, because you don't really have a good view into the post that is sending them to you, whether it's within the Department of Utah or it could be an out of state that's coming in. And you need to be able to have that confidence that that member is in fact eligible to be an American Legion member. So that's going to be policy that's set by your post. My advice would be that you do that for a transfer as well.
Great. Thank you, Rick.
Any other questions?
I don't think we have any right now in the chat, so go ahead.
Okay. So then membership reports and program reports. Any programs that you are actively involved in within your post, those people involved in those programs, whether it's Be the One, whether it's a VANR chair that you've got within your post for that part of the program, whether it is scouting, whether it is shooting sports, whether doesn't matter what it is, but if you've got somebody in your post that is helping with a program, they should be providing regular reports to the post on those activities, much the same as national or as the department does when we have our DEC meeting and we ask for Americanism reports, area 1, 2, and 3, and 4 reports, district reports, and all of those as part of what goes on, because it keeps people informed of those activities, and it provides, if you will, some oversight and the ability to ask questions on what's going on in those programs by those people that are in the post or in the district or in the department that are in the DEC that are operating that. So that's the purpose of that reporting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and there's one other thing I want to mention. This is on process and policy within the American Legion. One of the other things that, and this is something that comes in from the post data report and other information that is out there, but your memberships that you've got and updates of any records for a member that are either processed on a member data form or some other way, those things need to be set by, again, May 15th date is an important one, because those addresses and those members that are in your post, that will drive, again, the membership renewal drops that are done by National, because the first one of those is in July, but there are others as well. And you can find out what those drops are by going to the National Membership Award Program Guide. If you go, and you can, again, you can get out there and to legion.org/publications, and then go down to membership, go into the organization tab at the top and go down to membership, and you will find that manual. The very first 2 pages of that manual shows what the goal deadline is, membership deadline is for that year, and then also what the cutoff dates are for any member that renews before a date. The next mail renewal drop that is sent out by National will not include their name if they are renewed before that date and that's been processed. So those are important dates for every post adjutant to know about. I know that Virginia's got both of those sheets tacked up on the back of her wall in her office, and I go and review those frequently, just to keep track of what's going on with those. I mean, the next dates that we've got coming up, April 8th is when the 95% membership is due, and May 13th will be the 100% membership. And you'll notice that May 13th 100% membership is due May 13th, because the next important date is the delegate strength that is run by National, and that's done 30 days before the National Convention, which will be right towards the end of July, because we're going to be doing it in August again, as we always do. And so that's why those dates are important for membership, and making sure that we've got all the delegates that we should have for that, and that'll make our votes count as much as possible.
Rick.
Okay. Yeah.
Rick, I just have one comment that was made. I don't know who it is. It's because it says iPhone, but it says, I checked DD-214s and request proof of basic training course within last 3 years. If they haven't taken the course within 3 years or not at all, I strongly suggest they take the course, and it is required to hold office. So whomever wrote this, I just want to respond to that. I think it's great that the DD-214s are being checked against for membership. Proof of basic training course, very happy to see that, but I am going to suggest that individuals have taken that course within the past year, within the past 12 months, just because National does update that course, that free course for basic training. So I would strongly suggest, as you do, whomever this is, that it's done within the past 12 months. And as far as requirement to hold office, it's technically not required to hold office. However, I will say this, that you can tell the difference between those who have done basic training and those who have not. Especially when it comes into post and district leadership, into department leadership roles. So I would just say that within your post bylaws, that you address your training and education within your posts.
Good comment, and I would agree with you, because I took the basic training when I first joined the Legion, and when I first took on this job as adjutant, and I'm taking it again this year. So you're right about that. Every time you go through that, you're going to learn something new. Okay.
Any other questions out there or comments before we proceed? Okay, hearing none. Go ahead, Rick.
Okay, so now we're moving on. Post-operations support. Maintaining compliance, again, with Constitution and bylaws. Supporting Legion programs, coordinating events, maintaining records for audits and inspections. And again, it's important to understand what records you need to be keeping, because if the IRS was to go to somebody's post and want to do an audit, many posts, when they were asked for show me your membership, will provide the membership for both the American Legion and the Sons of the American Legion. That's a problem that has cropped up in many departments within the American Legion. And it's important that when you're looking at those memberships, that should only be the Sons or the American Legion and not include Sons, because that Sons is a program. And I've already sent information out on this. I can send the memorandum that was sent out by Mark Seavey, the National Adjutant, again on that. But there's some distinctions there, and I don't want to get too much into it because I know that there's a lot of other conversations that could be leading up to that. But that's why it's important to maintain your records for audits and inspections and making sure that you know what you should be showing somebody when they ask you for a membership role. Okay, district adjutant. Again, administrative officer for the district, works with the district commander and coordinates communication between department and post. Right now, we shortcut this often, and there's a lot of things that I'm sending out directly to post leadership, but I would prefer to be able to simply send this to the district leadership and know that it was going to get out to the various posts. This coordination of communication is essential, so that people are aware of what's going on and aware of changes that are being made and aware of events that are coming up that they need to be aware of. But that coordinating communication between department and post is a key function of that district area. Again, distributing department communications to post, collecting information from post, maintaining contact lists, communicating meeting schedules and so forth. Preparing district meeting agendas. Again, this is going to look a lot the same. Recording meeting minutes, maintaining district records, and tracking posts, or tracking post attendance. Providing administrative guidance, helping new officers understand duties. Now, while there is information out in the various manuals that the American Legion provides on roles and responsibilities for various positions within the American Legion, there are clearly some things that people will have questions with. And ideally, the first point to get clarification should be at the district level. If that is not available, or if the district doesn't have the information available or feel comfortable sharing it, then it can go up to the department. But that's that role in supporting the posts that the district ideally will be able to provide. Again, coordinating district programs and events, such as district meetings and so forth. Those are all important to be able to communicate. Monitor district membership trends. This is an interesting one because this is one that we should we need to all be thinking about how to watch this more carefully. I know that over the years, those posts that are the largest within our department has changed and moved around. I did think at some point in time it was post 71, another points in time it was post 90. Currently it's post 9. And those trends are important to understand from both the fact that they are moving and give you insight or give you the ability to look at that and say, why is that occurring? What is the change that has happened that is driving some of these changes within the department? Assisting struggling posts. This is a key one. This should be we should have as many resources within our department as possible to assist posts that are struggling with whatever area that they're working on, whether it's how to maintain tax information, how to file their 990 forms, even if it's a short form, how to get insurance, how to write a constitution and bylaws, how often should those be reviewed by the post, looking at insurance that they need to get for an event, looking at fundraising opportunities and events for that post, All of those things should be items that can be helped at the district level as well as at the department level eventually. Again, maintaining those lists, district officers list, meeting minutes, contact list, event records, and historical records. Best practices for adjutants. Maintain organized records. There's lots of ways of doing this, and I'm actually looking at some digital ways that we can enhance this at the department level. But every post will want to have their model for how they are organizing the records and keeping those together. Communicating regularly with leadership. Track calendars and deadlines. Respond promptly to department requests. Respond promptly to department requests. Respond promptly. Okay, I got that. So, databases, distribution list, calendars, templates for minutes and reports. Templates is a great help. I've been revising the templates I use for both agendas and for minutes. And once you get those templates in place, it makes it easy to be able to generate the next set of agendas or the next set of minutes based on what you've had previously put together. Okay, I know I've gone through a lot of information here, but we'll open it up now for any questions, discussions, anything further that you would like to talk about.
Rick, you mentioned when a post has a problem and he needs to go to the district should go to the area commander before he goes to the department. We can't forget that we have that other link because they are part of department.
That's a good comment. I think that was Randy that was speaking, and you're absolutely right. In this presentation that I put together, I sort of used the sourcing for this out of the national organization as it's defined. And if you look at the national organization, the constructs that are available to develop organizational entities within the national database is either, well, other than national, it's department, it's district, it's county, and it's post. Those are the constructs that are in place. We have added areas in the Department of Utah, but there is not an official, and this comes into account in a couple of ways. Ideally, if I give an adjutant, a district adjutant, if I set them up as being an adjutant for District 1, they should have access to everything in District 1 as far as membership records and so forth. I don't have the ability to do that at the area level because an area is not a construct that is currently supported by national. And so I can't say, here's an area commander, and now that area commander has got access. So for example, 9Zell does not have access to District 4 and District 8. And I can't do it that way. I have to go in and do it sort of by force in order to give her access to each district and within that area directly, rather than being able to just say, as the area commander, you have access to District 4 and 8 information. And so, but you're right, Randy, and I appreciate you bringing that up because, yeah, if a district's got a question, it should then flow to the area next and then to the department. That is ideally the way it would work. Thank you for that clarification.
I think another point of clarification, and I can't stress this enough, is that district commanders especially are, and they teach this also nationally, is that district commanders are the liaison between the post and the department. So if you're able to work with your district commander as a post member and or in post leadership, go to your district commander. Ask them for assistance. If you're finding that you're not finding success in that, then go to your area commander and get assistance there, but also include communications with the district commander and district adjutant so that communication lines stay open within the department.
Okay. Other questions, discussion items, comments?
Okay. Ron, did you have one? I can't hear you. You're on mute or something. No, you're not on mute. We just can't hear you. If you want, Ron, you can put you can type a comment or a question in the chat. In the meantime, while we get Ron on board, I just want to make sure that everybody, Richard, have you or Rick, have you had an opportunity to send out the Blue Hatter?
It's on Steve's desk.
Okay.
And so that's where it's sitting. And I will, as soon as that gets posted into utlegion.org, I will send that link out.
Okay. So the March Blue Hatter was done for March 1st. It does exist. I have had requests to have it sent. I've emailed a handful of you with the Blue Hatter. In the meantime, the Blue Hatter will get up onto the website, it sounds like, under training and news on the website. Um, the second questions I've had is about Utah Legion College with the resolution being passed in December. I know that's been a topic of discussion as well. There are some moving parts to this, and it is in development, and more details will follow as soon as we're ready to release all that information as far as Utah Legion College. Um, let's see. Are there any other additional questions for Rick as a trainer? And thank you, Rick, for doing your training tonight. It was very helpful, I think, for everybody. Any other questions or comments?
I have a question. As an adjutant, how come we can't go in and change emails, addresses, phone numbers, and those type of corrections on the individuals? It's frustrating because we have to, after we get that and consolidate it, we have to send it to you, and then you've got to do it, Rick. Why can't we have access to do that to save you that work?
The short answer to that question is National doesn't allow it. Now, can that change?
Yes.
Possibly down the road, but it's currently the way it's structured. That needs to flow through the department adjutant to make some of those changes. And that is just the way it is, at least today.
Another question we have, Rick, is can we get a checklist of report due dates sent to solidify deadlines? Ron, could you clarify a little bit what type of checklist you're looking for or which deadlines you're referring to? Is this for membership?
The ones on membership, again, if you go out to the National Membership Annual Program Guide, you'll find what the goals are there, and you'll also find the cutoff dates for the membership. In other words, if a member gets their membership in and posted by a certain date, they will no longer get renewal notices from National. Please send us money and renew your membership, because that will have been handled. And that's one of the reasons why it's important to, in your post processes, make sure that you are processing membership quickly and not just holding on to it for 2 weeks or what have you, because that generates more paper out of National, and it confuses the members when they've already paid their membership dues and they get another renewal notice asking them to why, would you please renew your membership? So those are some of the things that are out there. That the other big dates are really around the post data form and the consolidated post report, and those fundamentally are a May 15th date mid-May date that both of those need to be done by. And on the consolidated post report, the intent of that is to maintain a year's worth of data. And where it gets confusing is that for example, on the consolidated post report, that needs to be in final into national by June 1 of a year in order for them to be able to do the reporting that they want to do on recognition in the national convention. But then the online report is not available until typically the end of December. And so that becomes a challenge for people to, because what they've got to do is from when you release your final version in May, you need to be keeping track of what's going on in the post until the new member our consolidated post report becomes available online, or till when the new consolidated post report paper version comes up. Please note that if you've got 20 copies of the post data report or consolidated post report from last year, don't use that for this year's reporting, because it will get kicked back, because it changes a little bit every year. They add fields that they're tracking. They add some that are yes or no become a count. There are small changes to them, and you've got to be using the current form, not the old form.
Any other questions?
Was that me you called on?
Yes.
If you like, I can share a screen right quick and show everybody that membership calendar.
It's on a multiple share, Doug.
Okay, so here it is. If you can see my screen now, this is the 2026 National Membership Program Guide. All you got to do is go to legion.org, ask for the membership guide, and this gives you all of the dates and things right there. So,
yeah, and if you go down to the next page, it'll show the cutoff dates. If you go down a little bit further, there you go. No, yeah.
I don't see the cutoff, but
well, the
you
cutoff
need
the cutoff dates are the dates based on those. So that's what you are looking at. So they're using the American Legion birthday, March. Well, it's not actually March 11th, but it's March 15th as far as the real birthday. But that's the date that they're using for 90%.
Yeah, and this is for percentages, but there's another cutoff date.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, what time is it? I got time to do this because I'm gonna.
You got 2 minutes.
While you're doing that, I'll make one more point to kind of answer some of Randy's question. He probably already knows the answer. There is a motivation for every member to have their own My Legion account.
Yeah.
And the purpose for that is that you can go in your own account and edit your information anytime you want to. Simply log into your account, edit your email, edit your phone number. So back in the day when I had guys who were not computer literate, I would go knock on their door with my laptop and say, let's set you up an account. And the whole purpose of that was so I could do that, correct their information or get it in there so that I wouldn't have to send it to the adjutant back in the Randy Knight days. So there's a workaround if you don't want to dump that information on Rick and National.
Yeah, and let me just share with you one other thing, because I just dealt with this with another Legion member who did this and caused himself a little bit of a problem. If you go into your My Legion account, there is an area where you can edit your email address on the main screen and you can change it. And if you do that, you will break your account. There is another location where you can go in and you can say, I'm going to add a new primary email address. you put it in there and then mark it as primary, and it will move the account over to be reflecting to that new email address, because the email address is the critical anchor that the American Legion uses to tie your membership data to your My Legion account. And so changing that email address can be problematic if it's not done the correct way. And they do allow it to be done incorrectly. And that's a conversation I'm having with Dave Sutton and others back at National, because that shouldn't be allowed to be done that way. Now, they are going to be releasing a new CRM soon. I'm hoping it's going to be within the next month or two. It was supposed to be done by February of this year. But when they do that, I'm hopeful that they will have corrected some of those sly backdoor things that you can do to break your own account, and then you have to call up and get things straightened out again by calling the help desk at National.
Okay. It's 7:01. I always try to be mindful of everybody's time. If you have additional questions or you need additional assistance, I know that there's many of us that are willing to help. Please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. That is, I know for those of us that are in commander roles, and of course our department adjutant, and many who are members who have also been over, who are past post adjutants, past district adjutants, just communicate well with each other and bounce ideas off each other to help improve your posts. And again, thank you, Rick, for your presentation tonight. I think it was really helpful. I know that this information will have an AI report. We'll make sure it's accurate and clean. If we decide to send that out, it's helpful for people to have a transcript finding. The other thing is that as far as video transcript, if you're not aware, there is a Department of Utah YouTube video that the Department Adjutant put together several months back, I think. And so that's where video content will be at if you want to review that for your posts and districts. And other than that, for those of you in Area 2, please, if you haven't already, read the chat that I left for you. And if there's any other questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask, seriously. So thank you for all that you do out there. We really appreciate you.
For those who are interested, female veterans, the Utah Department of Veterans and Military Affairs is having a recognition of female veterans March 20th at the state capitol rotunda from 6 to 7:30 p.m.
And that is a great event. I go every year. So those who are female veterans, please come. They have some good speakers, and we have a great evening at that event.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commander. All right. I think that does it for tonight. Everybody have safe, stay warm out there, and we will see you soon.
Okay.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.